What's up, Go enthusiasts? Today we have the grand finals of the greatest Go tournament run possible, executed by Zhu Haohang at this point last year. It's taken me months to get through these. I apologize for the delays. It took Zhu Haohang only 2 days to play these games, which have been so difficult for me to analyze and present to you. And that's part of why this is the greatest Go tournament run possible. He's already defeated the world number 1 and the world number 2 at the time. Koja, at the time, the world number 3. Of course, Koja has the most world championships of all the modern players. So he's a very, very strong and renowned player. Let's see just how Zhu Haohang can win. Zhu Haohang plays black, Koja plays white. We have a unspace high enclosure in the bottom right, and Koja immediately plays a 3-3 invasion. If you aren't familiar with Koja's style of playing Go, he loves territory. Loves territory more than almost any other player at his strength in all of history. Probably not almost. he loves territory the most. And so he plays this kick and extend in the corner. I don't really recommend this Jiseki, but what Koja is thinking is, wow, look at his territory. He is very, very comfortable to just have that and then continue to play, have that continue to play. He likes this kind of position. And it makes sense globally in this case with the bottom right enclosure, so who's to stop him? Black just should take a extension, save his 2 stones, and white plays the Atari and extend. This is a very common follow-up to that upper right corner. And white, is just pass the turn back to black. Black can approach here. There's not any direct pressure on black in the upper right corner. It just means that black won't be building anything big there. So white takes his enclosure very naturally, and black jumps. You can see black is looking to be a little expansive here, to start looking towards the center, which is in general what you might want to do when your opponent has already taken 3 corners. You may have noticed Koja, those territories are already there, and he has almost no entrance to the center. He doesn't care. He keeps another corner again. It's not a bad move by any stretch of the imagination. This one, beyond just making one more little white box over there to match his other 2 boxes of completely solid territory. This one also has a decent effect on the left side. We can't really draw a black box around here because white has a route in, and there's not really going to be any way for black to reasonably stop this in most game states. So what to do for black? It's a little difficult of a game position to play. A lot of players will just play away and pretend everything's okay. Zhu Haohang plays the shoulder hit. And so he says, hey, the problem with taking territories like this, the problem with having super strong groups is that I can press you down. And if you answer a bunch, then you're going to be over-concentrated. You won't want to have all your stones there when you start fighting in the center. And Koja says, who says we're fighting in the center? I just want my territory. He's so territorial. And this may seem crazy, but this style, not only is it objectively okay, but it's Koja's favorite type of game to play from here, where he has all strong groups. He can do anything in the center of the board that he wants to, like make a new weak group. He has no commitments elsewhere on the board. And it's actually quite a restrictive kind of game for black to play. He chooses to shoulder hit on the top side here. So to try to sort of say, those stones are helping to build my wall towards the center. And so I have control in the center. So something is going to happen there, and white is not going to be free in that area. And at this point, Koja finally starts taking an eye towards it, starts walking towards the center with this knight's move from the lower left. Some very, very territorial players would have been considering to play a move like this. If you play something too towards the side, then your opponent can ask you, hey, are you really going to take the side? And if you just keep accepting somehow, this can get really, really troublesome for white, where black is casually starting to consolidate that influence. So it was the right timing, I think, for white to take a step up. And black doesn't really want to just answer that, so he goes to take the side himself, very sensibly. If white would take the side after having played this knight's move, then black would not have that same option to press down and have white be sad that he only gets the 4th or 3rd line. Once white has already gone to the 5th line, he'll be happy to take territory there, so black denies it. It makes sense. And Kaja, thinking that he spent a move eyeing the left side and black didn't answer, decides to hop in. And this is exactly what Kaja is famous for and strong at playing, this kind of fight where um, as white continues to run this stone to the center, to the side, over there, wherever he runs, he has no liabilities in this fight. So no matter where he goes, there's not really anything that black can do to be like, hey, now I'm double attacking your stone, your group with this other thing, because white is so strong everywhere. And so it makes actually a pretty difficult position for black to play, because you can't easily punch something which all it has to do is defend itself. That's a general rule in Go. The defender's move is 100% devoted to adding strength to his stone, and black's attacking move, which adds strength to an area near white, won't be 100% efficient in the same way. So black plays this move. This may seem like odd timing to a lot of you, because I know that you saw earlier I was drawing the line, and this is exactly the moment where white said, hey, now I've broken that area, and you would think that that means that this is the timing where black no longer needs to block. Because since white has already broken it, since white already is in the side here, blocking this area has no territory for black, which is true, but Zhu Haohong isn't really thinking about the left side as his territory at any point through this game. He's thinking about the fighting initiative between all the stones. And he thought, at this point, when white tries to continue saving this stone, eventually there's going to be some kind of cut in the center, and black may end up a little difficult to handle on the side, and white also may end up a little difficult to handle. So why don't I spend a move strengthening my stones that are right against that one white weak stone, especially on the side where I have cuts and I have weaknesses. And he didn't want to do it in the center because it can be potentially low value, so instead he chooses to do it on the side. And it made a lot of sense. And it gave Koja a difficult decision. If he continues to defend this group, well, he was actually completely strong in the first place, so black would just get to break into the white upper left corner for free. So Koja tries to be even faster. He goes and invades again to the black bottom left area. It seems like black may be getting into tatters here, but he has a good side, which is that he can clamp here, connect under, and try to break into that white upper left corner. White plays this push, and black plays a jump, so still trying to maintain some strength here. And finally, white spends another move on the left side. So this may seem initially like a disaster for black. Black used to be dreaming about having a big area over here, and now that is not black's area at all. In fact, white is dreaming about capturing those two stones and having the whole corner to himself, and even attacking that one stone on the outside. So this looks like black is in trouble, but what black did is he traded away, and he actually got his way into the upper left corner. So he can accept some losses on the side, which was not even his in the first place, in order to get his compensation over there. And really, this is a completely fine position. It's equal. And black's task now is, how do you best handle those three stones in the bottom left, which are very, very near to dying? Zhu Haohong does it masterfully. He does a really nice sequence here. He plays attach like this. If you would just directly try to save, then white will chase you and you're going to have a hard time. Something like this and here is just extremely painful for black. You're not really going to want to connect here, and if you do, you're going to naturally die on the other side. So you don't want to be heavy when you save these two stones. You don't want to say, I must commit to them. But at the same time, you don't want to be so light that white can eat them at a very large scale. So Zhu Haohong asks, hey, how much power can I have towards those stones? And Koja shuts him off as best as he can, which means Zhu Haohong can now commit to letting those two stones die and getting the most that he can out of it. So he plays this cut. And Koja plays this Atari. If now black would answer, then white would get a big, big kill. So black says, no, I won't answer. I'll Atari here. This one means black is asking white, do you extend or do you capture? And white answers with the extend, which is correct. If white had captured like this, then black could play this one. This makes a ko, which is very, very difficult for white, so white would connect probably. And then black can connect here And there's even going to be some Tsuji potential issues for white in this area. Black is going to get a really, really nice sacrifice. Maybe finally it would end up looking something like this, and here. And you can see white is forced to curl into a ball and just eat those 2 stones very, very small. Meanwhile, black gets a very nice position on the left side. So white instead extended, which is correct. This meant white is eyeing up, saving those 2 stones as he eats these, and keeping the most aggressive outside presence as he kills that bottom left area. Black plays the jump. So he doesn't interact anymore. He could have played this Atari and then allowed white to answer and then played the jump. And a lot of people would do that because it feels a little good to just press a little more, get a little bit more center influence. But he correctly identifies that he does not need to play that Atari right now. And this jump waits to connect. Of course, if black connects too early, that's not really going to do anything. But eventually, someday, black is thinking that these white stones can have cutting issues, that they can be re-attacked by the black inside stick. So he just jumps here to wait for his chance. It was a very, very nice movement here. That jump first was perfect, and white played the cut. So he got a little annoyed. He didn't want to like defend the left side and then get this Atari or anything like that. So he just said, okay, you didn't take that Atari, let me fight in the center and show you why you should have. And black should extend and make the best shape of this as he can. White pushes. Black plays Hane. So black is thinking, I should restrict those 2 stones as much as I can and try to build the best outside shape. White is thinking, I should get out. I should make sure that I don't get surrounded here. I should make sure that black has to suffer on both sides for his very, very thin shape. And black plays this Tsuji, the breaking the bamboo shape. As I say, you should always consider breaking the bamboo, no matter what. And in this case, it's a good move. It's a great move. White has a hard time figuring out how to save these 2 stones efficiently. He chooses to Atari and push through and come through like this and play like this. This manages to break through the black shape, but it actually turned out to be a mistake in the game. Instead, Koja could have played just simply like this and allowing this black Atari, but this is so painful, especially if you're going to get Atari'd and Atari'd again. And so, I mean, you can't really stop that with this connect because there's still going to be Atari and Atari again, and black can just fix. And all of these squeezes look like they're going to be good for black. So you can see why Koja thought, well, if I don't want to get squeezed, I can exchange a bunch of Ataris, like so, and then extend here. It had a downside. The downside of this sequence was that Koja lost some control on the bottom side. So black could connect as a forcing move, where it has to connect with this empty triangle, or else black could save those stones by capturing. And black connects here. This move was forcing, because if white did not answer and played some other move, black could push through. And anyway, you can see here the ladder just clips the edge of that wall. So it would work for black. That's why white had to answer. When white had to answer here, black managed to connect on this side and connect on this side, both in Sente. And so that gave black initiative on these 4 white stones. Those stones, the Aji that black had against them, that he left from that initial jump, that great jump on the left side to start, is now being activated. Black turns here. He doesn't have to do anything with it right away. If you do anything with it right away, then you can get chased over here. And then even if you can short these liberties, if you die with this, it's not going to be worth it because white connects all the way through in the center and everything is wonderful for white. So just eating these 2 stones first was perfect. White still has the issue on the side, and that restricts white, prevents white from doing anything very aggressive against the black 4 stones on the left. White tries with this turn, but Zhu Haohong plays the perfect sequence of jump to the side. Koja has to answer now, or else Zhu Haohong could have captured those 2 stones. Zhu Haohong fixes in Sente, fixes. This one is also Sente, also looking to capture with a wedge or something. And so white should connect back like this. This just barely works, just barely manages to capture those 4 stones, but it gives black the time to connect on the left side. And so now you can see, wonderfully, black has managed to secure a small base of territory on the left, while confining white to only the original territory in the corner. Even black managed to get some territory, some potential on the bottom, but capturing those 2 stones is very important. And the most critical reason why this worked out well for black is that the white group in the center has to save itself. If it just gets surrounded, it's going to die. It got cut off. Yeah, this was a really, really fantastic sequence by Zhu Haohang, punishing Koje for what seemed to be a very natural breaking through, but just step by step taking all of the things that he needed to take in good shape. Zhu Haohang has a lead already. And the lead is not that small, it's upwards of 5 points. Koje runs in the center, smartly avoiding a black surround. Black plays this move. It was a great move. I think it's not very intuitive to a lot of players because those 2 stones are already captured. So why do you need to capture them again? It's a very, a lot of people are just going to take a move on the right side here. White could play this attachment, and even when black turns back and white fixes here, there's still an issue that black has to fix again. So something like this, you can see that the white stones in the center are extremely good shape for saving that white group. So by playing this move, black denied white from all those squeezes, and he even created for himself some cuts to attack this white group with. And so that forced Koje to then answer again, and he has no real obvious good shape to answer with, so he played this one, making sure to stay somewhat connected and get some space in the center. It was a good move, although it looks like it's a little weird. And Koje didn't lose anything here, but black manages to get to the right side anyway. And obviously his territory on the bottom, much bigger than in that other variation. A great extend forward by Zhu Haohang on the bottom side. So now what to do for white? Koje is one of the very best players in the world, and frankly, he probably just is the best player in the world, regardless of Shinjin Sozin's existence, at coming from behind while down territory. While down with territory. Koje is so good at making a weak group and saving the weak group in a fantastic way. He's going to try to use that skill to come back in this game because he knows that black is leading. So he played this attachment on the bottom side. It looks to either go into the corner or go to save on the side. Black says, go save on the side. If white would save in the corner, it would be too easy. So he says, you can have the Aji on the side, you can try to save there. I have a lot of strength, I'm confident to attack you. Koje says, yeah, you should be confident to attack me, so I won't do anything yet. In fact, I'm just going to wait and ask you, what if I can mess with your right side again? And if you answer there, then I'll come towards the bottom side, and if I get more help, then I'll be comfortable enough to try to save. It's a great waiting move, this move, this cap, but black could play here, and it starts attacking everything. Actually, an even more reasonable waiting move would just be to play sort of standardly on the edge like this, and ask black to answer. If black would answer, black actually feels a little sad that this is too small, just a little. But this wouldn't gain very much, and Koje would quickly lose his chance to make a weak group. So you would have a very hard time to make this game exciting. The term that is very often used by professionals is to shake the board. That's the verb that they use to describe what it means to create the situation where you can come back. In this situation, there's nothing really happening on the board. People just have territory, and black has more. So Koje isn't satisfied with that. He doesn't want to just smoothly take the game through for the rest of the game. He wants to shake the board, make something interesting, where Zhu Haohang doesn't know exactly what he's doing. That's why he goes in deeply like this and allows the black attack. Koje is very comfortable to be attacked. He even wants to go in deeper. He wants to break all the way into the side. And this is clearly overplay because black was already pretty thick there, and now he can attack both your group in the bottom right and your group in the center, which you've completely ignored. So black just runs through. He says, hey, look, that group in the center is still potentially weak. And Koje says, yeah, I've got to go defend that. And Zhu Haohang takes another move on the right side. So this was a wonderful sequence by Zhu Haohang, and it shows why this white jump is misplaced. How to save the game for Koje. It's so hard. He tries to break through on the right side and get some resources here. Black just accepts. He says, okay, go ahead, break through there, but you don't have any eyes. You're going to be in big, big, big trouble. And so White starts attaching to things. He starts trying to get resources. This attach, Black needed to answer, or White could play a Hane and then look to save those 2 stones and look to save on the side. So Black keeps his control over the area, and White plays this attach. It's so annoying, right? Kaja is so annoying when he's saving his V group. Well, now what? Do I save that, save that? And you can sort of start to see how White is building some eye space, some eye shape, some resources that he'll be able to use to save this group. Zhu Haohong strikes. This is his moment. He says, now I will stop you. And Kaja attaches again. Ignores again. Because Zhu Haohong had a point, of course, this would be good for Black if White cut. Black could eat this 1 stone, and even though White cuts there, if Black can cut through here, this is going to be great for Black. Black would have all this territory, it would be enough. So White tries to get more. He tries to attach here, to press down, and if Black would just answer all the way like this, then now he can do the same sequence, and Black wouldn't even be able to cover his area. White could bust through. So Black fights against it. Pushing up was perfect, and to be honest, this is overplay for White. White can't hold everything together, but he's going to try. He has to connect here. He couldn't play on the outside or Black could start cutting things. White can eat, Black can eat this 1 stone, and White can press there, and he could have Atari'd if he wanted, but it doesn't do anything, so he just runs. Black presses here, presses, and finally, yeah, Black is going to save himself everywhere, and White is stuck with this weak group. White has broken through a lot of potential territory, but so what? There's this cut, but Black will just save his group on the side. So what? Yeah, Black had to save himself a little passive. He had to end up a little low. White got a lot of resources in the center, but White is still very alone, and he's going to have to save himself through the center. And there's still this other weak group on the left side. How to handle? This game looks almost impossible for White. Almost impossible. White says, I'll start with this cut. It's exactly perfect. You wouldn't want to let Black save that 1 stone, prevent the cut, and then keep chasing you. You want to run with a friend. It's a proverb, actually, one that I haven't heard very often, but one of the ones that I think is the most useful. Whenever you are running your group, try to run with a friend. Run next to one of your opponent's groups. It's going to help because White will get a lot of extra resources pressing on that 1 stone. Black has to save it to keep this attack alive, but White plays here and pushes. Black diagonal is the perfect move. He doesn't want to keep pushing because if he keeps pushing forever, White will use this initiative that he's getting against this group to help him try to recapture the group in the upper right, Black. So Zhu Haohong knows that. He's aware, and he's cautious. He comes back, he diagonals back, and he says, I keep my cut there. I keep my control over the top side. What are you going to do? And White just plays this diagonal. So this move is protecting White's cut, and at the same time is trying to keep pressure on that Black group on the top side. So how to continue? Still, White has 2 weak groups. This group on the right side, this group in the center, both of them are so weak that, frankly, it feels like one of them should die. But how to play the game? Like, how to make that actually happen? Actually effectively bring the group to death is not as easy as it may seem, especially against Kaja. Zhu Haohong decides to start casually. He says, I'll start by just defending myself and bide my time. He plays this 2 space, trying to be defensive with that group on the top side. And it was a blunder. And the reason why it's a blunder is so impossible. It's so superhuman that there's no one on the world who would possibly understand why this move is a big mistake except for Kaja. Attach here. The only good move. This is insane. This is absolutely insane. What is the meaning of attach here? What attach here is the only move which white can play to keep playing the game and keep his hopes alive. When this happened, Zhu Haohong got embarrassed. He's pushed up once, but when white played here, black can't do anything. He can't cut. He can't push through like this. If he cuts like this, then eventually white will win the capture race on these. And he can't push through here and cut like this. Again, white will chase this one, and however black tries to save this from here, black has to save both the stones in the center and his stones over there. That's too much of a task, even though there's a potential cut here. So it's not like he can come back to cut at this point, because he's going to end up dying in the center, some variation like this. There was no way, even if black would do this move, there is no way for this to work for black. It looks like it will work. If you get this exchange, it will work, but white had this move lined up. Then if black extends, this creates the same kind of double threat where white will push through over here or break the side. And if you play here, then white plays like this and can play here. Let's see, what was it? Here, I just remember the AI variation went like this, and then this black has 3 liberties, and then this white has 3 liberties. Black needs to take a liberty right away, but he has no way finally to take one. White can push all the way through here, and black can squeeze as best he can, but this white has no way to reduce to less than 3 liberties. Black can't even cut over here in this case because he's just 1 liberty short. What? What? You can't Hane because there's this crazy sequence where white counterattacks this, counterattacks. Basically, white was the one with 2 weak groups, right? I mean, black was defending himself, and then he defended him, and he was solid everywhere. White had the 2 weak groups, and black was supposed to be like switching back to attack, attack, attack. And then white played this one move, and the entire situation turned around. It suddenly, instead of it being a double attack on white by black, it was a double attack on black by white. It's, I mean, an amazing move by Kudja. Grand finals worthy move is attach. You can come back and regret if you're Zhu Haohong. You can be like, oh man, after I play this one, I literally can't do anything. Like in the game, all he can do is sort of casually try to save his group with a base and then allow white to push here and then connect. So black couldn't do anything stronger because he was going to die with this. And then he had to save that, and then white could play here. And black is playing away now because even if he would connect, this white is just connected. So white has just managed to save his group in the bottom right by connecting it all the way up to the top left with a crazy double attack on black's attacking stone. Like, what the heck just happened? It was insane. It was insane. This move is so great. You can regret as black. You can be like, oh, I should have played here. It's actually true. You can't play two-space because white attaches and double attacks you. So instead you play here and you recognize this wall was not that weak. It was more these stones that were weak. So I'll just let them chase against my wall as much as they want. I can save it. There's a lot of resources that black has over there. The most important thing is that I don't lose my control over these stones. I mean, but who would think like that? It's so hard to make that choice. In my opinion, the better way for black, the more consistent way to win, was to push here. To just make it so that these stones don't have their weakness in the same way. If you push here, white can go ahead and basically kill those groups, that group on the right. But you should be able to kill the left center back. And this makes it Tsumego, which is pretty hard. But as an attacking player, I think this game is more comfortable and easier to play than the game where you play here and get this one. I'm sure Zhu Haohong just didn't see this one though. It's so hard. If white does anything else, the game is almost over. But this was the only move, and it was so beautiful. And so after this sequence, I mean, frankly, Zhu Haohong has almost nothing else to do here, but what he did to just save himself. But white's sequence is basically forcing, and the game is close again. Well, Kudja managed to shake the board. He actually did it. With this crazy weak group that he was attaching with everything, and he was overplaying, and he was in so much trouble, and then he just finds this one shining moment where he can save beautifully. And the game is back to even. Oh, so time to attack. Black plays this move. He's trying to restrict the white space in the center there. If that white can't outline enough space to live, it's gonna die. It has nowhere to go. It's surrounded. It's solidly surrounded. Except black does have some weaknesses over there, because this black is also weak, right? It has a base on the left, but the connection there is not that secure. So white plays this attach. He says, hey, if you come all the way in, then I can start a counterattack. And black comes in. Because if black would have played on the outside when white plays here, it seems very likely that white's going to be able to make two separate eyes, and then black can lose the game. So he tries to fight harder. I support it, honestly. I think this is impressive, desire to fight. And if black had gotten to connect here, then white's weaknesses would have shown themselves, and black could have tried to save himself through cutting these and racing those. So white was forced to cut through in the center, saving his group, getting his one eye, and waiting. Black pushed this one time, and it seems like white has no eyes over here, only one eye here. It seems like white will be dead again. But it's Kudja. There's no way Kudja would die with a group like this. He has to be like at least twice as dead to actually die. Attach here. The best move. Oh, what even is this? This move says, hey, your group there needs to defend itself. Okay, so black's like, all right, I defend myself. And then white connects here. And black's like, okay, I defend myself. And then white peeps here. And the group on the left side also needs to defend itself. This connection wasn't strong the whole time. So black has nothing to do but go ahead and make some Taimasuji, some forcing moves, and not try to kill this. If black would have tried immediately, like this, white would push through here, and Atari, and Atari. It's not working. If black would have tried like this, white could play this bamboo, and this whole black group needs to save itself. So black tried like this. He thought, let me get some more time, because this is a relatively fast game. Let me get some more time and figure out exactly how I can organize this center shape. And white said, you don't have the time. I can cut you here. But it was a mistake. Actually, black gave white a chance at this moment. This was the moment where white could have tried to attach here instead. Attach here would lead to this tiger's mouth, creating a cut there. And if black tries to fix that cut, then you cut here. So black would have to fix the cut instead on the side, like this, and allow white to connect here. This would have been massive for white. He would have saved his group by capturing these so naturally, so big, and black would be able to capture the bottom left back, but it would not be enough to win the game for black. This would be white leading by a lot. But Kudja messed it up. He played this bamboo cut, thinking this was powerful, but black could play here, and black is going to be locally alive. He even plays this move before taking his two eyes to set up this as a forcing move. So after that, he then makes this, and that block means he's solidly alive. He could have done it immediately here. But then, later on, he was thinking, we're about to be taking care of that group in the upper right. That black group is kind of lonely, right? It wants to be able to push through and cut around here. But then white could cut here. So as long as he gets this exchange as Sente, then black is actually much, much stronger with that group in the upper right. So it was a really, really nice move to play this empty triangle at this timing, recognizing that that was, at the moment, his Sente to capture those two stones and live more gloriously. White should just save, make sure that black actually spends his move, and then white comes back to finally answer in the lower left. And black answers because white bamboo is threatening to push and peep, and because white's bamboo is threatening to murder his group on the left, and white played this move. It was a huge mistake again by Kudja. Kudja must have thought that this would be forcing, because it was forcing a lot of the time before, and it still feels like black is keeping some pressure on this white group. But at the moment, black doesn't need to care that much. And in fact, it was the group in the upper right, that black group, that mattered a lot more. Black managed to play this attachment. It was fantastic. This attachment means white needs to connect to save his group in the bottom right, and that created a cut here when black pushes through. He doesn't take it. He answers here, wisely, because just creating that cut means that his group is already alive, and this area was actually the area with the biggest territory. It would have been such a big difference if he would cut here or block here or whatever, and then allow weight to come in here. Then I don't even know how to do it. Something like this here. Oh man, black probably has better ways than to allow weight to get all the way in through here, but weight would be able to reduce a lot. This was such a big block to be able to get. White continued with a couple of forcing moves to get more time to figure out what was going on in the endgame. The game is so close at this point. And Xu Haohong, if you remember, he won the last two games against Park Xingwan and Xin Jinso in the endgame. This is his time. This is his moment. Xu Haohong is an endgame specialist. He's here to show that he can beat all three of the best 3 Go players in the world in the endgame in the span of less than 30 hours, just a day and a half. Koje won't go down so easily. He starts the endgame correctly with this knight's move, looking to dive into the black area in the bottom right. Black doesn't just answer, but plays his own big endgame over here. This is also getting eyes for black in the upper left and potentially keeping some pressure on this whole white dragon someday. So white ignores, of course, and tries to reduce himself. You can see both players are trying to build their own stuff as much as they can. If they don't have to block, they'd rather reduce the opponent to keep more pressure on to gain more in the end game. At this moment, black does have to block, or else white's continued jumps will start to activate some Aji and break way too much territory. And white plays this very, very smart wedge. Yeah, this move is super cool. Black has to answer on the outside, because if black would answer on the inside here, white would get both of these moves as forcing, which would, combined with this forcing move, this is also going to be forcing, allow white to get the absolute biggest territory that he could in the endgame there. And so black instead just answers here, giving white the chance to connect someday, and white just leaves that and connects here. Of course, that allows black to block. White could have tried from the other direction to jump and allow black to cut. He thought this way is going to get more territory because he can still play this Hane Connect, and it's a bit annoying for black how to answer. He decides to answer like this, trying to do his best on the top side, but he still has some life and death issues there. White plays the empty triangle one time, forcing black to answer, and plays this move, and black comes back to save those 3 stones. The endgame is so close. It's so close. Wait, pushes through here, capturing that 1 stone, and black saves the top side. White pushes through Ataris, and plays this forcing move. Black answers. White plays this forcing move. Black answers. And finally, white connects here. That allows black to jump. And we enter the very, very critical stage of the endgame. Actually, the game is still undecided. The players are still in the last moments of decisive game-winning maneuvers. White has a lead. White has the chance to win. He plays this wedge and blocks here. And black plays here. It turns out that was bigger. It turns out if white would have rushed to come over here and stop that, this would give white a significantly bigger territory. You can see that it would end up like this. White has, in total, 6 points in this area. In the game, when black plays this Atari, black can play all those forcing moves. Eventually, this move will be black's forcing move as well. And so white would only have 1 point there. It was a 5-point sente move for black. So it was 5 points reverse sente for white to take that. It turns out that was just a bit bigger than answering over here. 10 point gote basically from the 5-point reverse sente. Black got all those forcing moves. He got this forcing move, and then he captured here. White could save himself. He played the natural endgame from here, but it wasn't enough to win. And finally, for the 3rd time in 2 days, Xu Haohong has beaten a top 3 player in the end game. The game ends and Zhu Haohong wins by 1.5 points. What a crazy game. What a crazy game. Koji did so well to catch back into this game. Zhu Haohong did so well in the beginning, and he did so well in the end. What a game. Thanks for watching. And thank you for all of my regular viewers and my Patreon supporters who subscribe, who like, who comment on my videos. It always makes me happy to read comments, by the way. If you missed the first part of the series, you can see the link there. That goes to the first game in the greatest Go tournament run possible that Zhu Haohong pulled off. If you're interested in getting something from Go Magic, I know a lot of my viewers are already using Go Magic or learning from Go Magic. I think it's a great way to improve. Feel free, if you're going to do it anyway, you can get 10% off of anything from Go Magic if you use the code Telegraph. They've set up a very nice, generous partnership with me. It also supports me if you use that code, so please don't forget if you are going to get anything. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.